thought I'd discuss something very serious today, very serious topic. Um, I was involved with a couple the other night, and I've noticed since I came back from Japan to the United States, there's been an odd thing that's happened. I didn't have my driver's license when I first came back from Japan, and I ended up riding the bus a lot. And riding the bus for about a year and a half before I got my driver's license, I seen all these young hip hop ICP nitwits riding the bus and proclaiming the fact that they have been in jail and acting as if that is in some way awesome. And it worked because these young teeny bopper chicks that they were hanging out with thought they were cool and thought it was cool that they were involved with somebody or wanted to get involved with somebody that was in jail for stupid offenses, and just because they wanted to go to jail and have the bragging rights that I went to jail. It's just stupid. So this has become the new norm now. These kids seem to think it's cool. They're not cool unless they've been in jail. And I've never been in jail. I've been in jail 3 times, and that was because I didn't pay tickets for insurance. I got some tickets back when I was a kid in my early 20s, and didn't have the money to pay for the tickets, and got picked up and put in jail for I think 10 days one time and almost a month another time. And I don't feel like I'm cool because I did that. I feel like I didn't have any money, so I'd rather spend the time in jail, and I didn't really care at the time. But that's not a bragging right. I feel like a fucking idiot because I didn't have the money. Because if I would have had the money, I would have paid it, so I wouldn't have had to go to jail. But I'm not out to set some precedent to try to go to jail again. It's just stupid. It's just dumb. So this is what happened the other night. This punk kid came up from Denver, had a wife, and she's 20 and just had a baby. That's a whole nother video of this kind of thing that's going on now. These children having children. But yes, they were going to a Tech Nine concert here in Fort Collins, and this kid came up specifically to just get in a fight and just try to find somebody to fight with. And the funny thing about it is, he was up with his wife and 2 cousins, and they came up to the Tech Nine concert, went into the concert, and then proceeded to start a fight with somebody inside the bar. And after starting the fight inside the bar, they then was almost kicked out, but they ended up only kicking out the dumb shit that was married to the 20-year-old girl. And he went down to their car and proceeded to get pissed off because he was a little bit drunk and who knows what else. And he just proceeded to tear apart the inside of the car and broke the driver's side window out from the inside while a police officer was standing outside of the car for 30 minutes. The girl came down there. She was asked to come back down to the car because of her husband being a dumbass that he was. And upon doing that, they got into a fight. The cops left. They said they would leave. They got in another fight. The cops came back. After the being kicked out of the bar and that incident, he was wandering around outside, and 2 of my friends had seen him walk up to somebody unprovoked and just punch him in the face. And that's after that he went down to the car because he was asked to leave and the cops were called and things of this nature. So cops came back. They were still fighting. The cops left again, so this is now the 3rd time that the cops have been called on this one man. And the wife proceeded to tell him that he had to find his own fucking ride home, and he was a fucking loser, and started just bad mouthing him. And she got in the car and was gonna leave, and he proceeded to grab a can of hairspray and puncture it and throw it in the car with her, whereby she threw it back out at him, and he picked it up and threw it back in the car and smashed her in the face with it. And then she got out and pushed him, threw the can across the street, and that's when my girlfriend told me to go stop this, because I'm a third-degree black belt in Taekwondo. I spent 10 years in Japan and studied Aikido for 7 of those 10 years. And there was a bouncer that came across the street that was also a fireman, and we walked across the street. This man proceeded to ran across the street actually, and was stopped by 3 men and 2 women. And the 2 women started to rip his ass about it. So I figured that was taken care of for the time being. I would kick his ass in a few minutes. So I went across to the street to check and see if she was alright. I'm 39, and the other guy that was standing across from me, the fireman, was probably in his early 30s, and we were very built and very able. And my friend Charles came across the street, who is a Army veteran, was a sergeant and a drill sergeant in the Army for 42 years, and was retired, and is on a cane, and is 68 years old. This man, upon us talking to his wife, and she had left to go get the 2 cousins and had already left, and we were standing there explaining to the firemen what had just happened. And upon doing that, this man started to walk across the street, and by the time he got to the white line, this was a 2-lane intersection. There's 2 lanes on one side, 2 lanes on the other side, and a parking area in the center, and their car was in the center. This man started to run, and he ran as fast as he could, and he chose, awesome guy that he is, to attack the 68-year-old man with a cane, and pushed him against the car so hard that he has got some serious injuries, needed stitches, and we proceeded to put him in a headlock and drag him across the street, knowing that there was 8 video cameras showing what would happen, because if there wasn't, we would have fucked him up. But yeah, so we drug him across the street. The cops came, took him away, and the whole thing that I got out of this is that I have no clue of what these children nowadays are thinking of. There's far too much drugs and alcohol, and like, I can only have fun if I get drunk, and just a total lack of like humility, respect, dignity. It's like, I have no idea where this stuff has went. No family values, no sense of what anything. I don't know what to say. You know, just children nowadays, I just don't understand. It's like they have no parental guidance. They're all lock and key kids, and their parents have been working, and they've never taken care of their children. And these kids have no clue of what's going on in life. The only thing they do is sit and play video games, and they have no idea what love is. They have no idea what anything is, and that makes a real relationship. And 9 times out of 10, these children have grown up watching their parents fight constantly. You know, my friend Charles, the one that got smashed against the car, him and his wife tend to, every conversation they have, every time they open their mouth, is an argument. Of course, she's 28 and he's 68, but that's just, you know, something that you would want to argue about, I guess, because they're on completely different wavelengths. They've been married 9 years, so it's still going. But yeah, it doesn't make any sense to me that they would want to fight all the time. You know, that's how kids are nowadays, and it's also becoming very self-evident that these kids nowadays want to get another boyfriend or another girlfriend the second that something goes wrong in that relationship. They do not want to work it out. We have very few relationships now. I think it's 1 for 1. So for every relationship, every 2 people who get married, one of them divorces. I mean, that's just phenomenal. It's even higher rates for the people who believe in Christianity. So atheists have less rate, not much less, but enough to where it's like 2 to 1 instead of 1 to 1. So all these religious people who are so imperialistic and think they're so cool are getting higher divorce rates than atheists and agnostics. So whatever. That's a whole nother video on itself. But yeah, I'm going to college to get a doctorate in music and psychology. I want to be a professor in college, and I this is one of the big things that I want to try to tell kids, and I don't know if they'll listen. Most kids don't nowadays. They don't know how to listen. They listen to stupid people. They listen to rap videos, and they'll listen to somebody that doesn't really care about them. When somebody really truly cares about them and wants to see something good happen in their life and gives them some decent advice, they're like, oh, fuck that dude. Fuck him. He don't know shit. He's just a fucking idiot. What can you say to that? Just there's not really much help you can give somebody that doesn't want to be helped. So this is my video for today. I just thought I'd tell you what happened to me, what I've been seeing. If if you feel like saying something about it, respond down there. Yeah. So have a nice